Layoffs suck, pure and simple, but they don't have to suck as badly as some companies make them. If there's anything recent events have shown, it's that doing a layoff well is not easy. Some of the smartest people in the world running the most successful companies of their kind have bungled their recent layoffs. The selection seemed random and capricious, the messaging was terrible, and worst of all, they treated people terribly, both those leaving and those who remained. As a result, they have weakened their companies and tarnished their brands. It doesn't have to be like this. I can show you a better way. I'm Chris Williams, also known as CL Will. I have over 40 years of experience building and leading teams, including being a vice president of HR in the Fortune 100. I'm a leadership advisor here to help you be a better and smarter leader. Let me start right away with this. Layoffs are not a good thing. Layoffs virtually always mean the company's leadership made mistakes. Fixing those is messy, and I'm not here to tell you this is fun. And I'm also not here to discuss why you want to do a layoff. Companies have a lot of reasons to lay people off. Most of those reasons are excuses. I did a short video on that linked in the description. All those aside, this video is about how to do a layoff, how to be thoughtful and humane in doing the layoff, how not to compound the mistakes that got you into doing a layoff in the first place. Clearly, a lot of people need to hear this lately. Every company that does a layoff does it to accomplish one main goal: to make the company stronger. It may mean being stronger by cutting expenses and improving the bottom line. Maybe it's by canceling projects that were fruitless. Maybe it's by letting go of people who weren't performing to their value. Maybe it's just to appease Wall Street and bump the stock price. Never mind that countless studies have shown that doing a layoff virtually never boosts the company profitability, stock price, or long-term future. Companies still do layoffs for a chance to be one of the exceptions. Regardless of the reason for doing the layoff, the goal of every layoff is the same: to emerge from the other side of it as a stronger company. Executing the layoff badly is the reason most don't accomplish that goal. That's why I'm here to explain how to do it right, so you can emerge from the other side with your humanity intact and your company on the mend. We'll discuss this in the 4 phases of a layoff: planning, preparation, execution, and follow-through. Let's get started. There are 3 main questions when you are planning a layoff: who, when, and how. Who gets laid off, when you should do it, and how it should be done. The very first thing to do is to decide who gets laid off. You need to decide on the numbers, then on the specific people. First, decide how many people need to leave. There are 3 choices. We're trying to save X dollars, we're looking to cut X people, or we're trying to exit X businesses, projects, locations, or whatever. Which of these you choose depends entirely on the business and why you're doing the layoff. I can't help you there. Whatever you do, don't half-step it. Don't set yourself up for wave after wave of layoffs. Do it once and do it right. The atmosphere of a company that always feels like it's on the verge of a layoff makes everyone feel unsafe. People will head for the exits, hiring will be almost impossible, and it certainly doesn't make the company any stronger. So if you're doing a layoff, do it big enough to not have to do another one for a long time, at least a year, preferably as far out as you can see. Also, when setting your numbers, remember that you'll overshoot. More people will leave than you planned. Just the smell of a pending layoff will cause people to leave. Some you didn't want to. So keep in mind that you'll lose more people than you planned. I'll have more on both of these issues later in the video. Whatever number you choose, choosing the specific people is amazingly hard. You can't make it based on protected status, race, gender, and so on. You shouldn't make it based on performance without plenty of backup. And you shouldn't make it random. It rarely is truly random, and no one would believe you if it was. If you're going to cut purely on numbers, you have to be careful that you don't step on any of those third rails. For example, the most expensive people are likely the oldest. Summarily cutting them risks cries of age discrimination. On the other hand, the most numbers of people are often the youngest, the newest hires. But you've been making great strides lately on diversity. You have, haven't you? Cutting all the new hires risks that progress and opens up discrimination claims as well. Just blindly cutting on dollars can inadvertently get you into trouble. That's why some companies at least pretend the process is random. But again, even random can appear biased. So you need to weigh how to choose the people. The lazy way is to say 10%, people, dollars, whatever, and make the decision at the highest levels of the organization. Doing it this way has apparent advantages. It's easier to control with fewer people involved and far less chance for leaks of the news. It certainly is faster, but it makes everyone feel like victims. The layoff is being done to them. Even the senior managers who weren't part of the decision. When asked by employees, they can say little more than, "That's the decision." And this is the key issue. If the goal is to make the company stronger, you want to emerge from this experience with a leaner team that is armed and ready for the next challenges. You don't want a bunch of victims. You want a team of leaders. Here's a radical idea. As tough as it is, a layoff is a chance to build a team of leaders, to get them on board, understanding the reasons for the action, participating fully. And you do that by having them help in the challenge of the layoff. The way you do that is to push the who decision down the organization. You start by asking, we need to save X. People, dollars, whatever. Who has the best way to do that? Let your leaders participate. Start with your senior leaders and divide the pain up there. See who has ideas. See how you can make it work. Some smart leaders will see the reasons and volunteer their groups to share in the pain. They'll find projects that can go, find areas where they can trim. Others will resist and challenge, but eventually see the need. Still others may never acquiesce. But you'll work it out. Then have each of them push that down to their teams. Repeat as needed. At each level, you need to be careful of the dangers I discussed a minute ago. You need HR's help to ensure you're not being capricious and putting the company at risk. But it can be done. Making a really tough decision this way is a rigorous leadership litmus test. If you have leaders who behave like children and can't make this happen, who squeal and fight and refuse to participate, you probably have some pretty good layoff candidates right there. Like any tough challenge, doing a layoff is a test that reveals a great deal about your team. By distributing the workload of the layoff throughout the organization, you not only share the pain, but you share the messaging. Those leaders can't just shrug their shoulders and say, that's what management wants. They'll have some of the burden on their shoulders. When this process is complete, you'll have a team of leaders who face some very tough choices. They will have shared in the burden of the problem, and you will all emerge as a stronger team on the other side. And that's the whole goal of the layoff in the first place, isn't it? The next big question is when to do the layoff. It seems amazing to have to say this, but please don't do a layoff before a holiday. The last thing you want is for large numbers of employees going home for what is intended to be a family time of joy and togetherness with the weight of being out of work. And what a holiday means varies around the world and is based on the predominant culture of your organization. For many, that means don't lay off much later than early November to avoid the December holidays. But for others, it means avoiding Ramadan or the New Year. So yes, it takes planning, but avoid being heartless and laying people off right before or during a major holiday. Wait a few weeks after. That said, you should do a layoff as quickly as possible. The stench of rumors of a layoff will send the good people to the door. We'll discuss this issue in the next section, but performing a layoff promptly minimizes the collateral damage. So yes, this takes planning and consideration. It's not a decision to be made by the C-suite and the finance team without the involvement of HR and the PR team. Choosing the timing is a delicate and difficult choice, especially as the layoff itself requires a great deal of precision work. As you'll see in the next sections, layoffs done right are hard, complex, and need a lot of preparation. So much so that that's the whole next section of this video. Executing a layoff well requires the full and complete attention of most of the management team. You need to choose a time where they can devote that kind of time to the process. Don't have it compete with a big event. A layoff, regardless of the magnitude, is its own big event. Doing a layoff poorly and without preparation jeopardizes the very purpose of the exercise, to emerge out the other side as a stronger company. Choosing when to do it is a key part of that planning. The next big question in doing a layoff is how do we do it? It boggles the mind how badly some companies do layoffs, whether it's the crying CEO or the half-joking tweet or the summary cutoff of network access. The ways to poorly execute a layoff are too many to count. Yes, doing it well takes time, effort, and planning. Like anything else in business, don't try to get away with making it easy. This is hard, especially if you want to do it well. If you want to live up to the goal of emerging as a stronger company. As for the process, there's one key rule. Treat everyone like humans. Don't just cut off people's network access and let the chips fall where they may. Don't just assume people will hear the right messages. Don't treat people like so many fungible assets. Build a process that has everyone in the loop down to the individual, a process that involves every layer of the company in sequence and in a way that respects everyone. Yes, a layoff can be done well, but it has to be done with military precision. If you're worried most about the news leaking out, don't give it time to. The way to execute a good layoff mirrors the organization. The C-suite and their closest advisors are deeply involved, preferably for months. They make the crucial choices about numeric targets and timing. Their direct reports are involved for weeks, helping to decide who and giving input on the process and timing. Their directs are involved for a shorter time, helping finalize the individuals and prepping for the delivery of the messages. All the way to the line managers who often find out just a few hours or days before. At the bottom, when it comes time to meet with everyone in the company, the goal is to have the smallest meetings you can, preferably one-on-one for those leaving and in small groups for the ones remaining. If you enlist the help of the entire leadership, you can have all of these meetings done in 24 hours. But it takes a lot of preparation, which leads into the next section. If the goal is to make the company stronger, you have a lot of prep work to do. Just like any major project your company will execute, doing it right means preparation. First on that list is to ensure the future of the company. Long before any action, as soon as you've decided to do a layoff, find the stars and do what you can to secure them. At the first whiff of a layoff, the stars will be updating their resumes and answering those recruiter emails. They were just inches from doing it anyway. This is the push that will get them headed for the exit. You have to stem that tide immediately. You don't need to tell them a layoff is pending, but you must tell them that A, you love them, B, whatever happens, they're safe, and C, you need them going forward. Sometimes this means giving them bonuses or even promoting them. The key is to get them on board. If the goal is a stronger company, you need them. On a side note, one technique, if you have a lot of time, is to move the people who are going to be terminated into groups that can be cleaved off entirely. That minimizes shrapnel and keeps them isolated. The good people will say, "Oh, that's okay, it's just that group." This is hard to accomplish, but I've seen some people use this to good advantage. Much of the preparation work to be done will be on the HR and legal team. They need to build a comprehensive package for each affected employee. Part of that will be deciding on what severance or other terms to offer. Don't cheap out here. Remember that even if you're struggling for money, treating people badly in a layoff will have a lasting stench on the company, and make emerging out the other side as a stronger company virtually impossible. The package should include all the detail an employee needs for separation: severance, last paycheck date, unemployment eligibility, vacation payouts, healthcare continuation, what happens to their personal belongings, everything. A quality package that answers all these questions will make a terrible day at least survivable for them. And the package should be a physical document you can hand them. You're not going to email it to them, right? You just cut off their email. And you don't want to send it in the postal mail. They won't see it for days or weeks. You need to hand them a folder with everything. It will be about the only thing they leave the building with. At the very worst, overnight it to them the next morning. Speaking of questions, you need to work with your leadership, HR, and the PR team to build a bulletproof set of responses to the RUDE FAQ, frequently asked questions. Spend more time on this than you think you need to. It will save your life to have thought of a good, consistent answer to all the most difficult questions. Yes, much of it will be PR speak and talking points, but to have the entire leadership team echoing all the same messages does wonders for the consistency of the messaging. And it also builds confidence in every leader when they are all saying the same thing in unison. Arguably, the most important part of the layoff is the plan for the future. And that's the part that's rarely given enough attention. Too many people get caught up in the now. Again, if the goal of the layoff is to build a stronger company going forward, you need to spend a lot of time on the future, the life after the layoff, what the world looks like after you're done. This means you need a very clear vision for the company, in both the very near term and the long term. You need to be able to build a compelling case for the people left behind to want to participate. You have to have a dream, a vision, a reason why all this pain was worth it. Specifically, you need a clear organizational structure post-layoff. You need to be able to tell people who just lost a significant portion of their team who does all that work. How's this going to happen? Am I now doing 3 people's jobs? You need answers because those questions are going to happen. This is all the more reason why pushing the decision down through the organization is a good idea. If suddenly one day a manager walks into half their team, they'll be forced to wing it, to cope with no plan, and they too will get frustrated. So prepare in depth. Take the time to plan not just the layoff, but the post-layoff future of the company. Because, once again, the point of the layoff is to emerge a stronger company. You need to plan for that. Before I talk about the actual day of the layoff, let me take a moment to say that if you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more, I'd be honored if you subscribe to this channel. It's finally here, the day you've been planning for and probably dreading, the day of the layoff. Hang in there, you got this. You need to communicate to 2 separate groups of people on the day of the event, the people leaving and the people staying. For the people leaving, everyone gets an in-person meeting, truly live and in-person if at all feasible, at the very least over Zoom, with sound on, please. The meeting should be with their manager, one-on-one if possible. If you can't do one-on-one, do it with the smallest groups you can muster. Do not make the HR person or lawyer do this. The manager hired them, they have to let them go. If you must have someone else there, tell them to just observe. Make the meeting all about the departing employee. Very little about the reasons, almost nothing about the company, and please, dear God, not about you. This is hard for me. Who cares? Their questions will be entirely, what about me? And what's next? Give them clear, explicit dates and times, everything, no vague answers. Have a clear packet of information built well in advance. Don't make them sign anything. Don't make people sign legal documents with zero notice and no assistance of counsel. Give them everything in the meeting, let them get back to you with questions. Only at or perhaps during that meeting do you cut off network access and take away card keys, not before. Make it short. Get it done. The packet has all the questions. Escort them out ASAP. Packing up will be handled by somebody else. Long goodbyes never end well. This may well be the worst day of their life. Treat them with dignity and humanity. Do it swiftly and with care. Then turn your attention to those that remain. For the people who are staying, even a big layoff, say 10%, means 90% of the company is still here. They need clear messages. They are, after all, the future of the company. So, within minutes, every single person who is staying should be told. Maybe that's a big meeting. That's okay. The messages should be, we did a big layoff. Yes, the rumors are true. Here's exactly why. Admit that mistakes were made and that you're fixing those. Be naked and vulnerable here. They need to see you're not a monster. We, your leadership, have made mistakes and we're going to do better. Remember that at times like this it becomes, what about me? For literally everyone. The key message to those that stay needs to be, you're safe. The layoff is done, there's no other shoe to drop, we're not doing any more of these anytime we can foresee. Remind them that although this seems huge, 90% of us are still here. Then focus on the future. Get them engaged. Here's the plan going forward. It's amazing and it will succeed because of X, Y, and Z. And we need every one of you to be a part of it. This messaging to the people who remain is often the most forgotten part of layoffs. If the goal is to make the company stronger, this is crucial. In the recent layoffs, this was almost never done. 90+% of the company spent the time after the layoff wondering if they were safe, if they were next, and no one ever told them, ever. They just went back to work. This is not only cruel to the employees, but it is a huge opportunity lost, a chance to sell the message for the future, to get everyone on board. Again, if the goal of the layoff is to make the company stronger, the people who are staying are vital. You need to actively enlist their support. This is the time to do that. Finally, for the outside world and the press, you need to tell the world about it after you tell the people inside, not simultaneously, after. The people leaving deserve that respect. The people staying deserve that respect. A press release is fine. Do not, whatever you do, make this about you. Period. At most, it's about the company. At best, at least the day of, it's about the people. The people leaving and the people staying. We're so sorry to lose so many talented people. We made some decisions in the past that weren't the best. We're working to do better. We're truly excited to have the rest of the team over 90% and looking forward to tackling X, Y, and Z. If you truly did this because you want to make the company stronger, what happens after the layoff is the most important part. Now's the time to prove it. You have to heal the remaining team. You need to carefully pay attention to this new team. This may be over and done as far as you're concerned. Heck, you've been working on this for ages. It definitely is not for them. They've known about it for what, a day? They are scared shitless, like someone who just had a near-miss car accident. They don't believe you that it's done. They will be very wary. Every one of them will be thinking, that could have been me. Messaging here is crucial. They will be talking to their friends who have left, reading social media. You are not their only source of input. You have to be a genuine source of real, credible, honest information. And even if you are, they'll still be wary. They will be very suspicious of you. No matter what you say, they'll be polishing their resumes. They'll be looking for signs of you dissing their former peers. Don't fall for that bait. You need now, more than ever, to execute on a clear vision. Yes, this will pass, but unless you give them a reason for it to be compelling, they'll be looking over their shoulder for months. Like so many things in leadership, you've been thinking about this for months. For you, the anticipation is all up front. You've had weeks and months to process this, to plan this, to make this work. For you, the climax is the day it's done. For you, that's it, it's done that day. Phew, you're glad it's over. For them, it just started. They need months to get over this. You need to keep them focused on the future, on cool stuff. You need to make the pain worth it. Your actions in the days or weeks afterward will make all the difference. If the real purpose was to make the company stronger, this is it. It's all on you. Doing a layoff right is like any complex business endeavor. It takes a lot of planning, execution, and follow-through. And like any effort you undertake, having a clear vision for the result is the most important part. The goal of every layoff is to build a stronger company. If you keep that in focus as you plan and execute it, it is possible to do it well. You can retain your humanity, treat everyone with dignity, and emerge from a layoff a stronger company with a brighter future.